so delighted to be here today with my friend Norma Carlozzi. And we've been on a journey together, and it's just been so exciting to see what God does when we surrender it all to Him. All of our junk, garbage, yucky stuff, hard stuff, challenging stuff, and to see Him bring restoration. And so, Norma, I just would love for you to share a little bit of your story and see what God is doing in you.
Oh, thanks, Adina. I love this. I am almost 72, a mom of 5 kids, 6 actually, 1 adopted, married for 44 years, together with the engagement year, 45 years. Kind of always questioned, did I marry the right one? Because we were like North Pole and South Pole, far east, far west. And I just thought, God, did I make a mistake or did you make a mistake here? And my heart cry was always that we would be best friends. Yes. And we are, but not without the occasional glitches, which come from the glitch of childhood. Let's just be honest. Childhood it can have some hurt places, and that's kind of, what my childhood was all about. I mean, I've had leaders and pastors and, tell me, oh my gosh, it's like you have an SRA background because of the abuse. Yeah. And it's like, the law kills. Religion, yeah. It suffocates, it kills. Yes. So if people say, are you religious? I'll say, no, but I'm spiritual. Because, God, frankly, isn't religious. He doesn't subscribe to Lutheranism like we thought he did. I was raised in the Lutheran church, one of 4 kids. My mother was 20 when she married. My dad was 30, and they were very hurt, broken people. My dad's side was Masonic heritage, and my mother's side was witchcraft. So together, is that not a Molotov cocktail or whatever you want to say? It's like, oh, but with this, what do you say? Like playing a part, just not authentic, playing the religious game, like looking good to seem very holy and pure. And so, children automatically look at their parents like they're God until a certain point where they realize they're not, like in our teens and 20s and beyond. But so, and that's really where I got my identity and so did my brothers and sisters. And so we used to get together, my brother and sister mostly. My younger brother was 5 years younger. My older brother was 6 years older. My sister was 2 years older than me. Well, the older 2 committed suicide, and I won't go into that. And then my younger brother recently was very suicidal for the last 2 years. So does that kind of say it in a nutshell, that there was some stuff going on? And so I have spent my, from the age of 16 on, searching for healing, because I said to my mother, I need help at 16. She took me to psychiatrists at this medical institution, Kaiser. And I said to her after one session, I said, he's crazy. I don't want to ever go back there. I could see the OCD and the depression and the, dysfunction. And I got together with a beautiful pastor and his wife who actually headed up the drug treatment clinic, the counseling center in the Haight-Ashbury. So that's where I cut my teeth on really starting my journey of wellness and wholeness. And, a Lutheran pastor, my dad thought he's safe. Well, he wasn't compared to what my parents would have wanted, stay in that little box. He actually, for the first time, I felt love and acceptance from the 2 of them. And I actually started sitting in at counseling sessions in encounter groups with these crack and cocaine addicts and learning the ropes that way, and being part of the team. just offering my services and my time there. And that's where I cut my teeth. Then I went to college and, got trained in music. But after, it's like I went continuing to seek my healing and wholeness because I knew that I needed that. And I went into Theophostic and became like a counselor with that, and then went into, just every form of healing modality, Sozo eventually, and then Heart Sync, which is another form, and always feeling like there was just something missing. And what was missing was a true relationship, which I thought I had with God, my creator. And because we as children were always told we were wicked, and we would get beaten physically, but we would get beaten with Bible verses like which basically said, you're not pleasing to God, not to us, not to anybody. And that just tears down the identity. There was so much shame. And when you're wrapped up in religion and then shame that nothing you do is good enough, that's hell on earth. And that's kind of how I lived my life until I guess I would say until I found you and your husband and the ministry that you've done to kind of welcome everybody in to a beautiful swimming pool of God's love, the real God. And before I found you, I went through 2 years of deconstruction where literally I thought I lost everything. I lost all my emotions. I didn't really want to live. I lost my business. I lost everything except for my marriage. I mean, I had already gotten some really beautiful, how should I say, just my dream of being friends. And so my husband, and I think what kind of started the deconstruction was I was subject to some witchcraft, which is not fun. That's like Hunger Games or something like that. It's not fun. And that's happened to me twice, where it was very, very severe. It almost cost me my marriage the first time, and the second time almost cost me my life. Now, why did that happen? Well, probably I had some open doors that allowed that in, like Masonic and witchcraft. And to get beyond that and get just to kind of close those doors and get healing for that was very, very powerful for me, to separate myself from the false, the fake, the unreal, the what do you say when you're bamboozled? You're, like pull the wool over your eyes. Yeah, it was like that all came off, and I started facing things, and even facing things deep inside. And I started having memories like this is going to sound harsh, but of trying to be murdered, like my mother actually drowning me. And I said to my friend who, was kind of talking to me as this memory came up, and she said, no, that's an implicit memory. Those are more real than any other memory you have, because we can confabulate with our memories, and they can get prettier or meaner. But this was like just raw and real, and right on the spot there, I worked it out and forgave her. And a few days later, I just burst into tears with true forgiveness, but compassion, realizing that she must have suffered beyond what I could imagine to do that to a baby, like a fairly newborn baby. And then there were other memories that surfaced about being suffocated, being stuffed in my mouth to shut me up. Because my mother took me to the doctor when I was a newborn, and he put me on the wonder drug of the 1950s. I was born in 1950, called antibiotics, and it killed my immune system, my gut. And she said I had a little bottom that looked like raw hamburger, bloody. And so I screamed the whole first year of my life. She told me that. So it kind of made sense. Everything fell into place why all that happened. And, so I don't know if the memories are done yet. I hope they are, but I might get some more, and they're a bit shocking, but, it's like I'm always in a container of love with either you or one of my other buddies to kind of process these things.
That's the way to go, because when if you don't have that, when these memories surface, it can be so re-traumatizing and damaging. But
Yes.
when we can be in that safe place of unconditional love, wow, that makes all the difference.
Well, and that's why I was able to then resolve these things, let go, and actually truly forgive. Because otherwise, because none of us kids really were able to forgive our mother. She was the one that was bipolar and truly would flip out and go crazy on us. And well, and then we would be blamed, and then our father would beat us again. And I mean, just those kind of things that were, but they were saints in everyone else's eyes. What goes on behind closed doors isn't always the persona that people present.
Yes. And that's the challenging, particularly in the church, because, we're kind of taught, here we are and we come with our presenter self, as upstanding citizens and everything's good and the smile on the face. But like you
Right.
said, what happens behind closed doors is really a different story, not demonstrating the true love of God and who he is.
Yeah.
And I was going to comment, because I think I know this a little bit about your story, but when you talked about encountering witchcraft those couple of times, that was in the church, right? That wasn't, sometimes we think like witchcraft is over here and then we have the church over here, but you were actually experiencing it.
Yeah, it was in the church in one place. I mean, this huge center in San Francisco, like the main church. And it was just one of the unhealed people.
Yes.
And it was like, just, I mean, I could write a book. I could write a drama that would be turned into a fabulous movie about that one. What a great idea. I've never thought of that. I think I will. I'll write the screenplay. And then the other one was someone that I trusted that was so deeply a business with a husband and wife, deeply spiritual. It was coach training. And it was other people got what I would say punked. Also, there was that TV show Punked or whatever.
Yes.
They had it happen to them too, and I helped break off the witchcraft for them. But and I thought for myself, and probably did, but there were repercussions where just wow, and it was all good, because being deconstructed from I won't say fake religion, but maybe a false picture of who I thought I was, who God was, how everything should work, like a perception of reality, kind of like a whole matrix, if you will.
Yes. Yeah.
I was getting red pilled.
Wow.
Yeah, so I chose, I mean, it was a process, but, to find out the true acceptance and authenticity of what I would say is true believers or true lovers of God and people and humanity, and with a heavenly perspective, that everybody has a heavenly self. And that's what I found out through your ministry, that we all were created divinely, and our whole destiny was created in heaven before time, and we're just here living it out. And some people have a really challenging mandate or destiny or scroll, and some have a little bit easier one. And I guess I put my hand up for something challenging, as did you. I know part of your story, a lot of your story, and yeah, I think that's why we have become such dear friends. To know that we know that no one is beyond saving, no one is beyond, so evil that they can't, turn to good. I mean, our Creator is that good and that powerful, I believe, and we, when we're coming from love, we're powerful and can really make a difference for the restoration of not only ourselves, but our families and even our perpetrators that came against us. And I had some real perpetration because, and I think it's because and this is what I've learned, is because I had, some damage from perpetrators. It's almost like I had this essence or this sign on my back, or this, like, oh, they can be hacked into again, and it's not just people, it's this spiritual thing that goes on beyond us in the unseen realm that some people are aware of, some are not. But there's a realm of goodness and love, and there's a realm of not so good and not so loving. And we encounter that from time to time. And, I believe part of what we're here for is to help transform the not so good into the good. And I think that's our Creator's heart too. I mean, that's my heart. I know it's your heart, Adina, for sure. So
that's what to me is so encouraging, and what for me a lot of Testimony Mountain is about is it's not just getting healed from our trauma so that we're normal or whatever, but it's like, let's take it all the way. I don't want 1 ounce of what I went through to be wasted. And to see the glory of God, that in his restoration, it's always so much better.
yeah. In fact, what I have come to know or understand or realize is that, I think one of the reasons I was drawn to you is that I could sense that, you had come through victoriously some difficulties, kind of like those, I forget what it's called, those beautiful Japanese works of art where they break a bowl, someone breaks a bowl, and then it gets replaced and glued with gold, and or glued and then gold put in the places where the cracks are. And it's like, yeah, I think that's the same with us is, God doesn't just say, okay, now you're fixed, now you'll feel a little bit better. No, I think it's this golden heavenly light that gets infused into us as we're open to receiving the healing and just the touch of God's heart of loving us into wholeness. Because I think when I'm not so loving, like I can go with my husband a bit, or it's like places in me that get touched and hurt, places that don't know I'm loved yet, and then I get to go there. Okay, I bring that little place or that little part of me to you, Father God, and what do you see, and how do you want to work with this? And he always does. He always does.
I love that. It's so good.
Yeah. So that there's so many healing places. I mean, if you stretched out my timeline, you'd say, wow, it's like a city of lights, the most brilliant lights with all the healed places that, shine so that people say, oh, that's my place. I recognize it. Oh, I could maybe go there for some comfort or answers or strengthening.
Yes. And that's what I love. Our friend Pam Vandenbolk talks about rewriting your story. And, that's really what this journey is about, is it doesn't have to be this yucky stuff that we just shove away or pretend is not there, stuff down. But when we're able to bring it into the light of his perfect love, oh, wow, it's amazing, the treasure we find.
Exactly. I used to do that to stuff because guess who taught me to do that? My parents, the family of origin. We all did that and pretended we were saintly. Yeah. And there was this garbage can of stuff that, didn't really belong to our true, authentic heavenly self that came to earth to do something wonderful. Yes. We all came to earth to do something wonderful, all part of God's incredible drama. What a drama king, it's like, yeah. And so rewriting that story is part of rewriting the script, the drama, and I think it makes God's heart so glad when we do that rather than, woe is me, ain't it awful, like on an airplane when people, are sharing the horrible woes and throes of their life, because people want to offload the pain. They want resolution, but just telling it over and over and over and over again really isn't helpful. It never was for me. It's still unresolved, but when
stuffing doesn't help either, and that's the beauty of when we come together in community. I love our community because it's safe, and we can talk about things, we can share the stuff, but we're not left stuck in that place because we help each other to come to resolution with that unconditional love of Jesus.
Well, that's why I don't wear that filthy, filthy garbage can cloak of shame anymore. I mean, it was ugly. because I've been able to be open and raw and authentic and to be helped through what wouldn't be too nice to say in front of a congregation at a church. They'd
Yeah.
go, what? That was you? It's all of us. We all need to kind of come clean and, with the right people, where there is trust, where there is really unoffendable, authentic love pouring from the heart of God, because we can't conjure up love on our own. That agape heavenly love really is a gift, and to be able to have that kind of love and compassion for each other, and immediate forgiveness, or not even taking offense in the first place. That's unoffendable love is like my heart's goal and desire always.
Yes.
And not letting someone else's mood drag me down, but really pouring out love so that they can kind of leave that place and come up higher, and come from a higher realm of, kind of divine emotions, divine perspective, divine, authenticity. And I am so grateful for this community. And Pam Vandenbolt's community with her husband, Steve, and just all the healing I've gotten there as well. That, man, I don't know where I'd be if it weren't for you guys, and then being able to actually go and make a difference.
Yes.
And not stay hooked or codependent, or, but flying free, in true empowerment and grace and mercy.
It's so good. And, along with that, it's not that it's a perfect journey, and it's not about a Band-Aid or, anything like that, because we still have challenging, tough days, and that's part of being authentic and real.
Like yesterday. You haven't heard about my yesterday yet, but I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It was challenging. And, I still don't know how's that going to work out, or how's that going to happen, but I know it will.
Yeah.
I have a lot more assurance and confidence that no matter what comes up for me to face, I don't need to blow up or shrink or hide or stuff, or that I can handle it, right
it's
away.
So beautiful to walk this journey out. And some people don't understand that. They I don't want to dig up things from my past that I've buried, because that's yuck. Let's just focus forward. Let's, keep moving forward. But the thing is that those things are still there, and they get triggered. And so it's such a beautiful journey to walk this through. Not that it's easy, and sometimes it gets harder before it gets better. I mean, you talk about your deconstruction years.
Well, it's kind of destructive. Destructive of the not so good, and the reconstruction, the rebuilding of, or at least remembering and discovering who I authentically am and was before time.
Yes. And so it's just such a joy. And I just want to thank you so much, Norma, for coming on today and sharing your testimony in such a authentic, beautiful, glorious way. And just want to encourage those of you who are listening is that, wherever you're at and whatever you're going through, there is hope, and there is a place of overcoming. And so we just want you to know that. Any last things you want to share?
I guess I would say is there's nothing too big to handle, because you don't have to do it alone. There's community, there's the love of God, which I'm just beginning to find out how loved I am and how accepted I am. And it's like, I still have so much more to discover about the love and goodness
Yes.
of God, that, what was meant for evil, maybe in other people's minds or intentions of their heart, God only means for good, and he does turn it to good. And
Yes.
So I've seen some pretty outrageous miracles, really.
Yes.
And I think the biggest miracle of all is seeing hearts soften and turn to love and melt, and for this sense of unity of people coming together in oneness of heart and mind, rather than all the division that's kind of been happening politically and spiritually and in every other way on our planet of late and throughout history, that we are coming together, and we will be one. We will be one heart, one spirit together. And that's a powerful force. We are a powerful force for good in the hand of God.
Oh, I so love that, Norma. I love your journey and love to being able to walk this out together. And so thank you for
Can't do it alone. That's all I can say is
Yep.
I couldn't have done it alone. And I don't think we're created, we're fashioned in the image of God. And, you know, God the Father doesn't do it alone. Jesus never did it alone. He was always connected.
Yes.
Holy Spirit never does it alone. We are together. We're the fourth member of the Trinity, so to speak, the body of Christ, his beloved sons, which includes everybody, everyone, because we all emanate from his heart. So
yes. So good. So just want to encourage you, if this blessed you, please subscribe, like, share, get the word out. We believe that as we share the testimonies of what God has done, it reverberates that frequency in the earth. And we need that so desperately in this time, in this season. And to know that you also have a testimony. You may not think you do, it may still be in the works, but you have a testimony of overcoming. And so encourage you, share a few sentences of the goodness of God in your life. Testify of that if you'd like to in the comments. And we will see you next time on Testimony Mountain. Bless you.